We're Eric, Chandra, and Pooh Bear, and this is our bus Bonnie. In June of 2020, after years of dreaming of full-time travel, we brought home a school bus to convert into a completely custom tiny home on wheels. At 10 months in and a goal of being road ready by the end of the summer, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Today we tackle a project we've never seen anywhere before, custom windows. Here's part 1, what not to do. Our new generator. That way we can work at the storage unit. Okay. What up, dog?
We're attempting to build custom windows.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So we bought
1x2.
1x2s.
Cut them in half.
And here comes a train, please hold. So we bought 1x2s, cut them in half.
And then now we're just measuring it up and seeing what's good.
Seeing what's good. We just pulled up to the bus. Gonna try to finish one window today. We made a run to Home Depot, got everything we needed. Eric is currently working on making the studs for Eric is making the studs for the window frame. Those are gonna go in the little lip that we have in the window, which I'll show you right now.
So I took these strips and placed them in here to act as our studs. And basically cut everything off so that way there's a nice perfect edge. And then afterwards I'm going to screw these in with the outer bolts.
So he literally took a 1x2, cut it in half to make 1x1s, and then cut the 1x1s pretty much in half. Alrighty, so the generator's running, so it's a little loud, but I want to show you guys what I'm working on. The frame pieces for the windows are cut, but now we have to move on to a whole new process. So, I used this wood filler to fill all the cracks in the poles. Those ones didn't have any, so I didn't do those. So, I think this is like almost dry though. So, what I'm going to do after this is sand it down, probably just using this. And then from there, I will move on with prepping for paint. Right now, I finished wood filling and sanding the frames, well, the first frame, and then I'm gonna do this. So this is the primer I got. It's a mold and mildew interior exterior. Since the frames are gonna be on the outside of the bus. So Eric started sawing at this point and it was too loud, but I didn't want to cut this out because it is a what not to do video and we did not end up painting our frames for several reasons. When we did want to paint, we were planning to use this Kills Mold Mildew Primer. It's pretty straightforward, we didn't have any problems with it and it dried fast. We also got mini cans of black and white paint because we were planning to paint the outside of the frames black and the insides of the frames white. Lastly, the reason we dropped painting overall was this Ferrithane. I was under the impression that this outdoor waterproofing sealant would work, however it did not. It was thick, it was sticky, it took literally days on end to dry completely. I think it's meant for like sealing wooden outdoor furniture, so I figured it would work on our wooden frames, but I was very, very wrong. This stuff took days to dry, it was drippy, and it tinted the white paint on our frames this gross yellow brown. We ended up dropping the idea of painting the frames and ended up using this awesome waterproofing product, which I found later on, and I'll put that in part 2 or 3.
So we scrapped this one, was no good. And it didn't go along the seam.
I mean,
so we decided to try again on the other portion of the sheet. Luckily, we got a big enough one to where if we make mistakes, you know, we have plenty of scrap to work with. So what I did was I just set it up on this platform. This is my old desk for my office. It's kind of just hanging out here. I used this right angle to measure out a perfect straight edge with, this is just like racking material, but pretty much any straight edge works. And then I just went to town on this and I just scored. It probably took me about, I'd say 10 minutes to get through.
what is that thing?
It's a fly. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you cut in at least a halfway through. But yeah, so now I'm cutting the other dimension of the window. Once everything's cut, we'll line it up, see how well it fits, and proceed from there. When you're cutting out this material, it's easy just to, you know, cut the dimensions of the window. But ultimately, you want to cut all the way edge to edge as best you can, because that way you have a full edge to snap the sheet off, because you will have to use some force to break off whatever you're trying to cut. You can either use, you know, this tool, which I highly recommend. There's other, you know, like saws that you can get with like really fine tooth teeth on the blades. We decided to use this one because this was like $5 at Home Depot.
And it's right next to the...
And it's right next to these sheets, so...
Lexan sheets.
I definitely recommend, you know, if you were to do this, just, you know, invest in the time, invest in the tools, and make sure.
I mean, the
that
tool
you
was
do it
like $5.
right. Yeah. And just make sure that you take the time to do it right. We rushed this one, and as a result, we have an entire,
Yeah. Okay, so we are wrapping up for the day. I finished painting the frame completely, obviously. But now we need to, I'm gonna take them home and do a coat of urethane. I think it's called spar urethane or something. Because you have to wait 4 hours for it to dry. So I didn't want to like wait for 4 hours here. But I want to show you guys the update of what it looks like. Okay. So,
oh, that's nice.
Okay, so I have the flash on, so it might be weird. So can you point at the frame? So this is the frame. It's literally the wood that I was painting. I painted it black around where it would be visible.
Yep.
It's literally just wood. And then little baby heater. So this wood is what I was talking about. It's hard to tell. This was a scrap piece of the window that we're going to be using. So we're just using it as an example right now. What happened to your hand?
Oh boy. Whatever. I put the stud in there, and then I cut this off. And here it's probably, I'd say about like 1/4 of an inch.
So I forgot to film this earlier, but at this point in time, we decided that the skinny little frames, the 1x1s, were not going to work at all. They're too skinny. They don't have enough of an actual frame to hold into the studs, as well as give a little bit of a lip to hold the water out. So here is where we decided we're not going to go with those. We're going to go with a full 1x2. We're not going to split them in half or anything like that. So basically, as you saw this whole video, a lot of the things that we thought were going to work out didn't work out. So that will be the end of this video. That will be part 1, and I'm going to do a part 2 of us actually doing the frame successfully and being able to figure out a system that worked. But we hope you learned something, and stay tuned for part 2.